will be focusing on some side body stretches. We'll offer for the more advanced students some extra things. Good morning. I will offer for the advanced students as we move through these stretches that are all level appropriate. But if some of you are desiring a little strengthening to throw in there, then you will see options for you. But sometimes it's nice just to take a step back and focus on a little bit slower and calmer moves, especially if this is following another workout or something. So again, side body focus. For props, maybe a block. If you have knees that need extra cushioning, maybe extra cushioning for your knees. And that should be about it. To begin the class, as always, either in a chair supported by a block or on your mat. We'll take a few moments just to become present with our breath, with this moment, letting everything else just kind of stay out of your yoga space for the next, it's a pretty short class, about 30 minutes. So feel free to soften your gaze or maybe even just close your eyes. And begin to tap into your body, location and space, trying to find some alignment and support through your spine, with your shoulders stacked over your hips, belly drawn in to lengthen the rib cage away from the pelvic rim. Shoulders relaxed, chin parallel to the earth, and ears stacked over the shoulders, with softness through the face. Begin to notice the rhythm of your breath as it currently is without changing it. And if you find that it's shallow or jagged, perhaps you can begin working on smoothing out your breath, trying to breathe in and out through the nose, and getting all parts of your lungs by inhaling, allowing your belly to expand so that diaphragm moves down, chest expanding. And each exhalation releases all of that old air out. Maybe at the end of your exhalations, even drawing the belly in towards the spine. With your inhalations, drawing in calmness, clarity, and focus. Exhaling out tension, fatigue, and agitation. As you approach this place of increased quiet in the mind and the body, if you'd like to set an intention for your practice today, you can go ahead and pull up maybe just a single word of positivity that you'd like to emanate and saturate your postures, your mind. To seal the intention that you've set, you can bring your palms together at heart center. Draw the chin in and down. And then gently lift the head. Open your eyes. And we'll keep the hands right here as we take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, interlace the fingers, press the palms out, round the back, and drop the head. On your inhalation, lift the arms up overhead, lining the biceps with your ears. We're going into a side bend, so release your right hand down and begin reaching the left arm over with powerful lengthening and energy through the left arm, option of looking down at the mat to protect your neck. Stay there for another breath or two, keeping space between your ear and shoulder. On your next breath in, come back up to a neutral, reaching the right arm up, left hand to the mat. And as you exhale, left elbow can bend, shoulder stays relaxed as you powerfully reach toward the left with your right arm. Again, gaze can be down towards the mat outside your left thigh. Next breath in, right arm comes up. And then as you exhale, we're just going to turn around to a hands and knees position. Just ensuring that you've got weight through the fingertips, shoulders over wrist creases, tops of the feet down, and knees underneath the hips with a neutral spine. We'll do just a couple of rounds of regular cat-cow and then move it into a little something different for our side body. So on your next breath in, you can lift the chin, lift the tailbone, belly sinks. Exhale, bring the chin towards your chest. Space between the shoulder blades, tailbone scooping under as you gaze back at your thighs. Inhale again all the way through, neutral into the cow portion of the pose. And exhale slowly through to the cat, like Halloween cat part of the pose. Inhale back to a neutral position. And we'll stay here for a moment. Next, we're going to kind of do side to side. So as you inhale, lift the feet and shins off the mat. And as you exhale, place them over on the floor to the right as you turn your head and bring your shoulder towards that right hip. This first time, we'll stay there for an extra breath. Opening up the left side, squeezing the right. As you inhale, bring your head back to neutral, lift the legs up past neutral, and then lower them to the left. As you gaze to the left, looking back towards your left hip, squeezing the left side, stretching the right. And now we'll kind of go back and forth with our breath. Don't worry if your pace is different than mine. Inhale to center, exhale to the right with your gaze and feet. Inhale to center, exhale to the left. Inhale to center, exhale right. Inhale center, exhale left. Inhale center, this time just the feet, exhale to the right. We're going to take this into gate pose. So make sure that your right hand and knee are lined up. And then you're going to extend your left leg and start to turn so that the outer blade of that foot is pressing into your mat as you lift the left hand up to the sky. So in a perfect little yogi world, your hand, knee, and foot are in a straight line. And as you start to powerfully lift up through the hip and side, you can take your left arm over to get a nice stretch, increasing it on that left side. Advanced students could take this into a full side plank. We hold this stretch and continue breathing. Check that your head's not dropping, but you're keeping it in line, kind of a slight lateral curve with the rest of your spine. As you inhale, the left hand comes back to the sky. And exhale, come to hands and knees. We'll do the same thing other side. So lift the legs up, or at least the lower legs up, and lower them to the left side. And then you can start to straighten that right leg back. You can kind of turn the left lower leg more. And with a straight line from hand, knee to right foot, you extend your right arm up. Strong, straight right leg pressing into the outer blade, lifting up the side body. As you exhale, you can take the arm over to the side, palm towards the floor option. Advanced students of taking it into that side plank. Still breathing, lifting those hips up. If you're in full plank, knee comes down. Everyone, right hand to the sky. Exhale back to hands and knees. Tuck the toes under, lift the knees up and lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. You can pedal this out as you start to ensure that there is weight under each fingertip, not just the base of your palms. that you're really lengthening through the spine with the relaxed shoulders and head. No worries if your heels will not go to the mat and knees will not straighten. I'd rather you have that long spine. But in either case, we're gonna now lift the heels up and spin them over to the right. Let them lower. Again, it's okay if you have bent knees, but let them lower. Maybe even come to the fingertips of your left side and just kind of shift your hips back towards the right a little bit to get a different kind of stretch along the left side of your body. And then flatten your left hand as you lift the heels up, come past neutral, and lower the heels over to the left. And letting your hips sink back, maybe coming up to the fingertips of your right hand. And you can even bend that left knee, even if it was straight. Begin to flatten the right hand as you spin back to neutral. Lower the heels down for one full breath in your downward facing dog. And then as you inhale, you can bring the feet forward toward the top of your mat and come into a halfway lift. That could look like this with your hands up on your shins. The most important part is the spine. Take one inhale there. As you exhale, release forward into a full forward fold, head heavy. To come up to standing, you may want to bend the knees a little bit more. As you stick the tailbone back, find that aligned spine, strong core, and come all the way up to standing. Letting the palms meet briefly overhead, and then releasing them to heart center and down into mountain pose. I'll turn to face you, but you don't necessarily need to turn as we move into a side body standing stretch. For increased balance, you'll keep your feet as they are in mountain pose, even if you want them a little wider. For an extra balance challenge, I'll give you that in a second, but we'll be leaning in a moment to the right. So you're going to use your right wrist to hold onto your right hand to hold onto your left wrist. Lengthen that side, and you're either going to just side bend from there or cross the left foot in front of the right and stretch using that right arm to help increase the length of your left side, supporting your head between your upper arms. Stay grounded through the right leg. Right foot, if it's crossed, could be heel off the mat or it can be flat. I like flat for more stability and frankly a better stretch. And you're breathing. As you inhale, come back to center and cross the legs if they were crossed and switch wrists. Reach first, but draw the shoulders back down. Decide whether that right foot's going to cross over, and then exhale, pulling over toward the left with your left hand adding that extra stretch. And pretend, easy for me to say, pretend like you're between two panes of glass. So you don't want to be rotating forward, just reaching straight over to the left. That's kind of jutting out to the right. As you inhale, come back to center, uncross the feet if they were, and then exhale, release the hands down by your side. I'm going to go back to the front of my mat. On your inhale, reach up with both arms. As you exhale, open the arms wide, bend the knees, and you can even place your hands at your hips to keep that hip crease moving, hips back, align spine as long as you can to a forward fold. On your inhale, come into a halfway lift. And as you exhale, step your right foot back and lower that knee to the mat. If you want extra cushioning, place it under that knee and then top of the foot to the mat. So you may want to block on your right side to give you a little extra support as we move into, in a moment, a side stretch to the right. I'll start with it that way. So in this nice low lunge, tailbone lengthening, knee over ankle, you can place your fingertips on that block, a chair, or even a wall. And as you inhale, reach up with the left arm. As you exhale, reach over to the right. For a little bit more challenge, bend the left elbow and use the right hand to pull that left elbow over to the right, increasing the stretch down the left side. Check that you're breathing, not straining. As you inhale, come back up to neutral. Release the hands on each side of your foot. Advanced students, option of moving through a vinyasa with me. Otherwise, you can just step back to downward dog. So if you want to do a little extra here, we'll step, just so as a reminder to beginner students, we'll go to downward dog. Stay there, or shift your hips forward and down into plank. Lower yourself into a Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into upward facing dog. And exhale to downward facing dog. On your next breath in, look between your hands and bring both feet forward. It can take several steps, whatever you need, as you move into that halfway lift. And exhale into full forward fold. Inhale into a halfway lift. And exhale, this time, step the right foot back. And lower the knee to the mat. Wait, we just did that, sorry. Step the left foot back and lower to the mat. Untuck the toes. You bring your hands to the hips for a moment. And if you use the block on one side and want to use it over on your left, you can place it there now. And we'll begin with that variation. Inhaling, lifting the right arm up. Exhale, start reaching it over to the left. You're using the block, elbow bend, shoulders away from the ears. Without the block option of bending the elbow, reaching with your left hand and pulling. A little extra intensity of the stretch. Keep breathing and stabilizing through the top of your back foot and all four corners of that front foot. You can even shift your hips a little to the right. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, release. Hands to the mat. Your choice of just stepping the foot forward and holding a forward fold, or again, moving through a vinyasa by stepping back, moving to chaturanga, inhaling in an upward dog, and exhaling into a downward dog. We'll meet the rest of the class in a forward fold. So as you inhale, look forward, and exhale, step the feet there. We release also into that forward fold. Inhale, come into a halfway lift. Exhale, step your left foot back into a lunge. We're going to move into Warrior B, Virabhadrasana B. So we'll spin that back heel down and in. Let me move the block. And as you press into that back foot, especially the outer blade, front knee stacked over the ankle, you can open yourself up into Warrior B. Check that your shoulders are stacked over the hips. Your knee is not past the toes. I know I say that a lot, but it never hurts to add a little extra. And then you can extend the arms out, keeping the shoulders down as you gaze out over the right fingertips. To move into reverse warrior, turn the palm up of your right hand and powerfully reach up and back, just barely and gently touching your left leg with your left fingertips. Both feet are weighted evenly. Relax through the shoulders. You can also keep your head more neutral if that's better for you. Inhale, take the arms out wide into Warrior B, palm down. Straighten the front knee. You can do a wide triangle pose, or you can shorten your stance slightly, but the feet don't change and otherwise. Heel lined up with back arch. This time though, both knees are straight. As you reach out with the right hand and hinge at the hip with your left hand to the sky. So these fingertips could be gently, but not resting on the front leg. They could be on the floor. You could use your block turned either way. To make this more of a strengthening pose, I'll show you that in a moment, but for a little stretch first, bring that left arm over. And now to really work that core, an option is to bring the right arm off the mat and reach with both arms. If your both arms were up, you can release your right hand down and use the left arm to bring you back up to a neutral, and then a reverse triangle. So right palm to the sky, reaching up and back, moving slowly. Stay balanced, breathing smoothly. Stay focused. The arms will come back out again. Right palm down, moving into that warrior B. Now stay here, or I'm going to take some of you into half moon pose. The rest of you are going to just bring your forearm to your thigh and focus on this nice side stretch. In fact, let's all of us go there first. We'll just take this nice side stretch. Option of bringing the fingertips down to your block or the floor. But if you do that, make sure you didn't just now rotate towards the floor. You want to keep the arm back. So many of you will stay right here in this lovely stretch. Some of you who want a little balance challenge today can reach that left arm up, take the right fingertips out, and move into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. If you're in half moon, you can start to return that right knee bent, coming into your side stretch. And then we'll use that left arm to powerfully pull us all back up as we straighten the right leg. Bring the hands to the hips. And we'll just turn the feet to repeat the series on the opposite side. So heel lined up with arch. Encourage, but don't force your pelvis towards the long edge of the mat. Shoulders stacked over the hips as you reach out through the fingertips and bend into your left knee. Check those alignment things we've been talking about, and then gaze over the left hand. Left palm turns toward the sky as we go into reverse warrior. Reaching the left arm up and back, barely touching your straight back right leg. Taking the arms and body back to warrior B, and then straightening the front leg for either a wide Trikonasana or decreasing your stance slightly. And imagine that your shoulder blades are pressing against a wall behind you as you move into your triangle, option of block, shin without pressure, or fingertips to the mat. Tune into that left kneecap and make sure it hasn't started to spin inward toward the long edge of your mat. But instead, your thigh muscles are helping it to stay rotated out, pointing the same direction as your toes. Short edge of your mat. You can now take the right arm over to increase the stretch with the option of bringing that left arm up with both arms near the ears for more of a strengthening effect. Gaze could also be toward the floor. If you feel any issue with your neck. Nice. We'll use that right hand now to pull us all the way back to triangle, and then palm up on the left side for reverse triangle. Increasing the space between the left rib cage and the left pelvis. Taking the arms back out parallel to the earth, transitioning through warrior B to bring the left forearm to the left thigh and the right arm near the ear, creating a diagonal line from fingertips of the right hand to the right ankle. Draw the left shoulder and the right shoulder back. option of taking the fingertips to a block or to the floor, but again, keeping that right shoulder blade especially back. Stay right here, or you can move through Ardha Chandrasana on this side by taking the right hand up, gazing at the mat to readjust fingertips and toes. And then as you straighten the left knee, press out through the sole of your straight right leg. Stay there for just a couple more breaths. Whichever pose you're in. Noticing, staying present. If you were in half moon, start bending the left knee, coming back to side angle stretch. And then everyone will use the right arm to bring us all the way back up. With both legs straight, hands can come to the hips. As you spin all 10 toes slightly in, and just realign now, your toes want to be all in the same line. With straight knees, powerful reach through the crown of the head. You'll take a nice breath in, lengthening even more. And then exhale, the pinkies can remind those hip creases. That's really the only thing that's bending right now. The spine stays aligned until the fingertips could release to your block or the floor. Take another breath in right there. And then you can start to bring your body into a deeper fold, sliding the hands back, working the crown of your head toward the mat. Don't worry if it's not there. We're just here briefly. As you inhale, lift the head away from the mat and walk the hands quite a bit out in front of you, almost like it's a kind of a wide leg downward dog. And as you allow your chest to sink down between the arms, your ears, and a pass between the arms with a heavy head, you can experiment with walking both hands over to the right and trying to bring that left hand on top of the right hand, noticing a stretch along the left side. As you inhale, walk the hands back, past neutral, and over to the left, possibly placing the right hand on top of the left hand. Walk your hands back to neutral, and then walk the hands to the now back underneath your shoulders as you lengthen the spine. If you feel any instability, you can bring heel toe the legs in a bit first. Otherwise, strong core, strong legs, one head at a time to the waist, and bring yourself up to standing. And then you can heel toe in until the feet are just a bit wider than hip width apart. And your knees are slightly out, so they're going to be facing the same way as your toes. Take a nice breath in here. As you exhale, we're going to forward fold. So just a little different position with the feet. Halfway lift. And this time as you exhale, you're going to start to bend the knees and take the hips down into a seat. It would have been nice if I told you, some of you may want your block. So your options will be to sit on your block or even a chair, a low stool. Or some of you may feel comfortable with your knees, keeping the heels down to come sink all the way down into Malasana. Once there, take the hands to heart center and lengthen through the spine and breathe. Heels down, toes relaxed. So for one side, I'll do it with the block, and the other side, I'll do it without. little bit of a side twist with a squat. So we'll start by placing the left hand down near the floor, fingertips if you're on the block. That's probably going to be the all you can get down there. And then the right hand's going to reach up to the sky as you allow your body to turn to the right, gaze up towards the right thumb. One more inhale, a little bit wider with the arm. And then exhale, place both hands down. We'll repeat on the other side. So the right hand comes down to the floor, kind of in front of the right foot. And the left hand reaches up as you turn your chest up as well. Your gaze is up. And breathe. One more inhale, open a little bit wider maybe. And exhale, bring that hand down, hands back to heart center. Find yourself all the way down to the mat. And I'm been facing this way, and we can all turn now to face the long edge of our mat. And we'll be down, but we're gonna come back up for our end. So you can use your hands or abdominals to control yourself all the way down onto the floor. Reach out with your fingertips, reach out with your toes, and stretch as long as you can, like a lowercase letter L. While still stretching, maybe lift the head and shoulders to take the arms over to the right and the legs over to the right. Just kind of on the mat, feet stretch, side body stretch. Inhale, come to center. And exhale, bring the arms and head over to the left slightly. And then bring the legs over to the left, stretching the right side. Come back to center with the legs and arms. And for those of you that want to go right into a Shavasana, you are in a perfect place to start settling into that. So you can mute me and move into your own Shavasana, which is the deep relaxation. Otherwise, we'll finish seated with a couple of neck stretches. So for those of us that are taking the neck stretches, you can bend the knees. Roll over onto one side, either side, and come back up to your seated position. Again, but you can sit on a block, the floor, or even a chair. Relax the shoulders down, find that alignment first. And then as you exhale, just allow your right ear to drop down towards the right shoulder. You may like taking the left palm and kind of pressing it down into the mat, or even using your right hand with the fingertips gently encouraging a deeper stretch. Maybe you can just close your eyes and imagine that the warmth of your breath is dissolving any tightness that you notice. Your face is soft. If you're holding the head, release the hand back to the mat. And open your eyes if they were closed just so you can see me. We're now going to just shift the stretch toward kind of more our upper chest. So chin comes in towards the chest, and you'll turn your gaze a bit more. So now it's kind of towards the floor outside your right side. If you want to use your hand, you're now kind of pulling more towards the back, pulling the back of your head, encouraging your chin closer to your chest. Hold deep breaths. Release the hand, drop the head to center, and then bring it up to neutral. And then we'll do the opposite side. So allow the left ear down towards the left shoulder. Right palm can kind of actively press into the mat, which will help draw the shoulder down. Option of using the left fingertips and closing your eyes. Bringing your awareness, attention into the stretch, using your breath as a tool, staying slow and warm to dissolve the tightness. Release the head for a moment if you were holding it, and start to rotate your gaze as you draw the chin in. You now kind of turn so you're seeing outside the left thigh, moving the stretch a little posteriorly towards the back upper traps, option of using your left hand. Release the head, drop the hand to the floor, head drops to center, and then up to neutral. Lift the shoulders up to the ears and roll them down and back. And again, squeeze up, roll down and back. And place the hands at your lap or at heart center. You close your eyes. Just take a moment to notice any change in how your body feels now compared to before class. Just scan the body. Notice the state of your breath. Notice the state of your mind. Recognize that any change towards what you would consider to be a more positive place for any of that is because you opened up and allowed it to happen. You were receptive to the change. And you can open your eyes. Thank you so much for your time with me today.